Welcome everyone to another episode of Learning with Pros. Today I got John Cincola with me. John, welcome.
Thank you. Pumped to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. You're one of the more recognized teaching pros online. I've watched a lot of your stuff. I've learned a lot from you. And teaching is a skill separate from playing. And when you have both, it makes for really good stuff. And you have both. And so I'm really excited to get you on here. What we're going to do, John, is I have a few points that I took from a tournament that I recorded about a month ago. I feel like tournament situations are when I'm kind of, maybe exposed a little more than normal. And so a little more tense. And so I wanted to get some tournament points in front of you. And we'll just play these, whether it's strategy, whether it's, technique, I don't know, whatever you see, we'll just kind of let you, pick me apart. I just got a few points where I lost. I thought those were the most instructional. So we'll jump into those. But before we do that, how do people find your stuff, John? You're on YouTube. Where are you at?
Yeah. So John Cincola Pickleball on YouTube. That's probably I guess that Instagram probably my most active platforms. YouTube is really like all the long form, pretty in-depth stuff. And then, on Instagram and YouTube Shorts and that kind of stuff, you can find more just like short little clips or, little things here and there. So
yeah, highly recommend going check out his YouTube channel. It's really solid. Not too many people doing it as well as you are. So I'm going to share my screen and then we'll jump into these and we'll see what you pull out. Just for people listening, I didn't share these with John beforehand. These are just kind of him seeing them for the first time. And I know you're going to be able to find some things. So I'm hidden here on the left.
Can you give me some quick background of level here and kind of just
Sure.
what's what's going on?
I compete at 5-0. I'm like a mediocre 5-0. I'm on the team near side. I'm kind of hitting the corner. You'll see me pop out in a second wearing a blue shirt. We're playing the team across from us. They've made some main draws before. They're better than us. So they can kind of expose some stuff, which is good. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay.
So I got this coming in at about half speed. If you want me to pause, rewind, just let me know.
Okay, perfect.
See, that's my partner, Ben, serving. And then it's coming at me here.
Are you usually playing left or you guys?
We're playing straight up in this one.
Okay.
I typically will play more right than left, but trying to play more left, be a little more versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Hit a real weak one right there.
Yeah, so go back a little bit.
Towards the end?
Let's go halfway through.
Okay.
So let's look at that first forehand dink you hit first.
Oh, what happened here? Here it comes.
So on that, technique wise,
sure.
For me, I looked at there's not a lot of hinging at the waist. And so, you made the shot, but to me, it looked like your head drops a little bit and you kind of hinge at the waist down to the ball and then stand up. And I would like to see your chest and head stay a little more upright.
And chest and head more upright and then just bend.
And using your legs to get down more.
Okay.
Because that hinge when you're hinging at your waist, that's kind of affecting your paddle face. So it didn't manifest here, but there are times where
that's going to cause issues.
That's going to cause errors, or it's just going to cause a more erratic paddle face because you're adding another element to the movement of that face.
Okay, I like that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's probably me, just tall man syndrome, just bending down with my hips.
Yeah, it's pretty common actually.
Okay, I like that. And that will just improve consistency. Best thing moving.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think on that last one, that previous kind of forehand swing was a little wristy, a little slappy, a little bit big. Yeah. And then because of that, like I think it took you a little bit longer to see how far that comes across your body.
Yep.
Like if you go back just a touch.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like at my left elbow.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually like on volleys like that, you want to try to have that like paddle like finish almost like back in your center. So I try to train my volleys. So the way I kind of teach it is like it's not two parts. It's not like part one, like, everyone makes a big deal about recovery, obviously, like
Mhm.
recover back to ready position. Um, but I try to teach that like your recovery is built into the technique of your previous shot. So like you want to build the technique so that when you volley, your volley tends to finish right around kind of like the center of your body. And then that way you're automatically recovered. So it's not two parts. It's not just have a wild swing and then try to pull it all back and recover in time. Yeah. So I think that may be the product there is that kind of like bigger first volley, and then you're scrambling a little bit
On that next.
to recover, like when it comes back again.
Yep.
Like when
So-
he hit the ball, you were just getting kind of settled
Yeah.
back into your position again.
What's the involvement of the wrist in volleys, if any?
Uh,
Because like I've heard it said that like wrist, like that's how you generate power, right? Is like that kind of whip, and I think maybe that's where I get that from. Is like, oh, I feel like I need to try to. I mean, I mishit that one, but if I think that's my thinking around that is I'm trying to generate a little something more.
So like on that very last one,
Like on the very like my first volley here, you said it was kind of wristy.
yeah, and I guess I'm not like as concerned about that part. Like it can be a little bit wristy, but I was developer and more concerned about like the length of the follow through.
Okay.
So like someone like J-Dub, for example, like if you visualize watching him play, like he's pretty wristy in his volleys. It's like almost all wrist, but they're super, super compact. So
Okay.
like
So compact is more important.
compact is more important. Like some people get it a little more from the arm or from the elbow. Some people are a little more heavy on the wrist. I don't know if there's necessarily, especially at higher levels, that there's necessarily a right or wrong way to do it. Like you see top players kind of achieving success in different ways. But with the kind of the consistent thing that you'll notice is like whatever they do, they're keeping it compact.
Okay, I like that.
And usually,
And even on this one, like I mishit this one, and you know, like if I stayed compact, I probably could recovered and found either reset the next one or at least put a paddle on it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is a little bit slower motion, so it doesn't look as bad. But like your time there is you probably felt panicked on the second one because like by the time the ball got back, you were just getting your paddle kind of like reset and settled in again. And so you probably definitely felt rushed on that second ball, which could kind of lead to that.
It's not like that ball was ungettable. I probably could have
No.
done something with it if I was there.
So, yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one here. I'm in the same spot. Compiled these a while ago. I can't remember what they all are.
So there, go back again.
Yep.
So you got there well, you got there quickly. Like this first volley looks passive to me.
Do a little more with that one.
Yeah, like you just kind of like bumped it back. You can see how short it's landing. And now he's going to have a pretty easy, like he's able to move into the ball, have a kind of a nice easy fifth. And like you basically just kind of gave him a path to the net. Like I would like to see you on that ball, like, drop the paddle and really hit a kind of like try to go for like a snappy like roll volley. It's just that's pushing him back. Like in this situation, you have the advantage and your goal is to like hang on for that as long as possible and make their life hell trying to move forward.
Yeah.
You just kind of like gate it to them. would say, it didn't make it
Yeah,
super difficult.
that jives. Well, I feel like some of the better players I play against, they're all really good at punishing you for just leaving it a little bit up like that. And I am now seeing
Yeah, and that wasn't way more up. I'd say that was right around like net height, but like
it was enough to be something with.
it was enough to definitely like roll it with quite a bit more aggression. Hit the ball heavier, hit the ball deeper. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Right, go back a few again. I noticed this in the last point too, but I'd prefer to see like that middle ball you left to your partner a few times. I think it can be more dangerous if as the left side person you're taking that with your forehand.
So this one here.
Yeah. I like that attack. Now, go back one more time. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So I like that backhand attack, but like when you're hitting an attack like that, your thinking should be like two balls. So it's like you hit and then you're like right back out there, like searching for that next ball.
For the next one.
And it almost looks like if you had been really active, you could have hit that backhand and then done a quick step over and like ranged over and found that next forehand. That one right there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Just like that quick 1-2 of like,
when you
get that, it's a good attack. You got it down, but now it's like you go into like really like, I got the first one down. Now I'm going to try to like get wide and go. Like once you establish like kind of, an attack on that first ball, you want to try to get as many of the subsequent balls after that because you're about to attack it. And you can see this kind of happen because like your partner gets a little bit surprised versus if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to snap this backhand and then I'm going to go like find the next one right away.
Yep. So on those little 1-2 combos, do you have like, is it built into your system where you have an idea of where the ball is going to go to next, or is it just more reacting? Like you're just looking to react, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say my first kind of thought is where I want to hit the attack based on like knowing my opponents and kind of where their problem spots are.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether it's, do they slide? Do they sit backhand? Do they counter while on the backhand or forehand? Or, so like, that's usually my first thought when I'm going to hit a ball like that is I'm going to try to make my first spot like good enough that hopefully I'm getting a somewhat weaker ball back. But yeah, I would say for me, it's kind of instinct to like, if I hit a certain direction, I'm just expecting
my system a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you have a drill to kind of put that into your system? Because I feel like I'm very reactionary on the second ball, whereas you, or when I watch really good players, they just have their paddle in better spots than I do. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so we do, and I drill with some of the other pros. We'll do like specific speed up pattern drills where like, say we'll both be at the kitchen line right in front of each other. Someone will toss me a ball and I'll go, okay, I'm going to speed this up. I'll tell them like, say I'm hitting a backhand, two-handed backhand. I'll say, I'm going to speed this up like down your line. And then they counter back. We'll usually start where like they tell me where they're going to counter back. And then so I go speed up, they counter, and then I try to recounter. And we'll go through like all different patterns of that. So they'll change where they counter. Then they'll progress to telling me like, okay, I'm going to counter wherever, so I have to react. And then I'll change my speed up spots from saying, okay, I'm telling you where I'm going to speed up to now I'm not telling you. Yeah. So just doing that a bunch of times, you're building the recognition.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I imagine you start to see body patterns, paddle positions where you're like, oh, this is where it goes next.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like you said, building the movements first of just kind of being able to go like quick from 1 to 2, and then kind of like, tying that to patterns and tying that to like when you see certain things, you kind of have a sense of where it's going to go.
Get me hitting that to the net. We'll do go to the next one here. Little drive and crash fail.
Yeah. So go back to that ball, that first ball.
I hit this one a little high, but I think
that's the great thing.
Moving.
I like everything about what you did. Like you moved into the ball. Like it looked like you were, you sensed that the guy in the black you had a pretty good serve. So you sensed that the guy in the black was like maybe a step or two late to the line. And it looked, based on the speed that you hit it, it looked like you were trying to hit kind of, I would say in that situation, like 90% of the time, I'm trying to hit like an off speed, like dipping kind of shot, a little low, how it's like kind of in transition right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want that ball to be like basically landing right at his feet, like 2 feet past the kitchen line. So it's not a drop.
It's better to think placement there over power. I'm probably just trying to hit this as hard as I can, and I'm not.
See, it didn't look
fine his feet.
Yeah, it didn't look.
It's kind of tough in half speed.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think
so definitely placement work is all. Like anytime you see them a little bit late like that, I'm trying to purposely take power off the ball and add more spin, so I can get that ball to shape down. Because you have the advantage of like the return was a little short too, so you're kind of crashing in. Mm-hmm. So now if he's picking this ball up off his feet, you can see where your position is. Like you'd have a chance to be really like putting pressure, like attacking and putting pressure, and maybe even winning this point off that shot.
Yeah. I feel like we got a half decent look here. Is Ben getting in my way here? Should I be the one slapping this?
No, I don't. Usually I say like on fastballs through the middle like that, it's just like whoever is it first. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's like we're not necessarily worried about whose that is, or it's a middle ball, and like someone's just got to be there. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. All right, we'll do one more. We're already getting close to 20 minutes here. It goes by fast with I looked at like 3 points. All right, last one.
Okay. So that's another thing. Let's go back again right off of that. So I say ditch the slice return.
Okay.
That's you over there, right?
Yep, that's me.
Yeah.
I think I default to that a little bit when I'm like nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I just need to go get more comfortable just taking that out of my arsenal.
Yeah. Do you know why I'm saying that? Yeah,
well, I've seen videos where like you could generate more top, you can rip it harder, especially if someone's good at that, right?
Yeah. Basically, like you're just giving your opponents more top spin to work with. So whether they drive the ball or hit like kind of a top spin drop, like their shots are going to be shapier and easier to kind of like dip down to your feet if you're giving them that underspin.
Would you rather have a deep slice or a short drive on the return? Or they both suck? Because sometimes like I'll go for the drive and like I'm not as consistent with it yet, and like I'll hit short and then they punish me for it, and I'm like, I know I can get this deep.
Yeah,
the slice.
I would say just stick with the drive, and
so I figure it out.
Work on getting it deeper. Like okay, for the time being, you can live with it, but like,
just keep.
You're seeing more and more like at the highest level where the the return is almost becoming like an offensive shot now, where it's like they're, really taking like full cuts at it, and it's like coming in like hard, deep, and it makes the third such a difficult shot, because if you're just getting like a ripping ball coming at you, to be able to control that on drop or hit a good drive is not easy.
Yep.
Versus if someone's just kind of like laying it in the court for you, you can get there, you can get you set up, do whatever. Yeah. So I think the mentality is changing, where the returns are getting a lot more aggressive. And I personally noticed that, like, when I play someone like that, like I play Zane a lot in rec, and Zane's been returning like that, especially more lately, where he's just unloading on his returns. It's
when we're unloading your return, are you worried more about pace and depth, or are you looking for like corners, middle? Do you think about that?
Pace and depth?
That's more important.
Yeah. And if you have a person that you're targeting, if you're, if you've identified somebody into the side that you want taking the third, or you want to have to hit the third.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like look for specific spots. I'm just looking for either like pace and depth, and then usually just I'll kind of talk with my partner about we're targeting either this person or that person.
Yep, that makes sense.
Not necessarily like, it gets hard to say like, I'm going to try to find this person's backhand or this person's forehand. Like the court's too small for that.
Yeah.
Like they can run around it. And so like, I think the most you're going to be able to do is just like, and even sometimes just finding one person to the other is difficult, because like if your ball's like in the middle of the box.
Yeah. I remember
playing step over and take that ball. So
yeah, someone was giving me crap. They're like, stop hitting it to this guy on your returns. I'm like, I'm not. He's getting out of the way, and the other guy's stepping in. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Especially if the guy that you're targeting is down the line from you, for you to be able to hit that straight ahead and get it like over far enough that the other player can't come over and take it. It's not easy on a good serve. So yeah,
I like that. And I remember why I included this one. So this next shot, I can when I'm blocking a drive, I can sometimes leave it a little fluffy. And like we end up winning this point here, but I give him a fluffer that he can attack. And like I do this, I mean, it doesn't happen every time, but it happens enough where like it's a problem. It's like, I'm sure there's some technique thing there of why I'm leaving that up.
Yeah, I think your elbow is kind of like popping up a little bit. So see how your elbow kind of comes like.
See, it's right after this one.
If you can pause it, see like, so like how it's going like this. Elbow's kind of coming up and the paddle's kind of coming under the ball. Like it's always going to give you kind of a slice or like an underspin type volley, and it's always going to be like floatier and hang a little bit more.
Yeah, it is kind of slicey there.
So I'd prefer to see like your elbow stay like a little more tucked in, and like you can't get out right top, like here like this versus like this, where it's going to be like coming under.
No, that makes sense.
You can't get that like snap out of your forearm. That if your elbow stays tucked in, you can get your forearm to kind of like snap through it more.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that'll do it for us, man. That was fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when it goes up.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Ron.
Yeah. Have a good one.